The night was silent outside the alien hospital, but inside the building, everything felt cold and emotionless. Machines beeped softly. Nurses walked without speaking. The place looked modern and advanced, but the atmosphere felt empty almost. Cruel. In one small room, an alien girl lay on a metal bed. Her skin was pale green, her silver hair messy, sticking to her forehead. Tubes were connected to her arms and chest. She looked very young, maybe no older than a human teenager. For hours, the doctors surrounded her, checking screens and whispering to each other. They were not trying to save her. They were waiting, the girl's eyes half opened, showing fear and confusion. She tried to speak, but her voice was too weak. Every breath sounded painful. She looked around, searching for someone who cared, someone who would help. But every doctor avoided her eyes. They were only watching her fade, the chief. Doctor finally sighed and pressed a button. The machine stopped. The lights above her bed dimmed. One nurse removed the tubes from her arms, not gently, but quickly, like she was handling trash, not a living being. "She won't survive," the chief doctor said. "There is no point wasting resources," another doctor replied. "Then, take her outside. Just like that. No emotion, no sympathy, no discussion." 2 guards walked in. They lifted the girl roughly, even though she cried out softly in pain. They carried her through the hall, passed through the back exit, and placed her outside the building on the cold ground. Then they turned around and went back inside without looking at her again. The metal doors slammed shut. The girl curled up weakly. Her hands trembled. Her breathing was shallow. She was shaking, not just from the cold, but from fear. She understood what happened. Her own people had abandoned her. They left her to die alone, like her life meant nothing, and she would have died there. If a human named Evan hadn't been walking nearby. Evan worked in a supply station across the street. He was on his way home when he saw movement beside the hospital door. At first, he thought it was a small animal. But when he walked closer, he froze. It was a girl. An alien girl. Weak, crying, barely conscious. He looked at the hospital door. It was locked. Then he looked down at her again. Her clothes were wet, her lips blue, her skin almost gray. She tried to lift her hand, but it fell back to the ground. Evan kneeled beside her. "Hey, are you okay? Can you hear me?" Her eyes slowly opened, glowing with a soft, dim light. She looked terrified, like she expected him to hurt her too. Her voice was tiny, like a whisper inside the wind. "Help, please." A single word, but it was enough. It hit Evan like a punch. How could a hospital throw someone out like this? He checked the door again. There was no emergency sign. No staff. No one even cared she was out there. "Did they leave you here?" Evan asked. The girl blinked slowly, and a small tear rolled down her cheek. She didn't answer, but he already knew. Evan tried knocking on the hospital door. No one opened. He pressed the bell. Nothing. He banged harder until his hand hurt. Still nothing. Finally, a guard appeared behind the glass window. He opened a small slot and said, "Go away. She is not our responsibility anymore." "What do you mean?" Evan shouted. "She's alive. She needs help. She is defective. There is no reason to treat her," the guard replied in a flat voice. Then he closed the slot and walked away as if he heard nothing. Evan stared at the closed door. He felt anger growing inside him, anger and disbelief. Humans were not perfect, but they would never throw a child outside like garbage. He looked at the girl again. Her breathing was even weaker now. Her fingers twitched. Her eyelids were too heavy to keep open. She whispered one more time, "Cold. Help." Evan didn't think anymore. He just acted. He took off his jacket and wrapped it around her gently. Then he slowly lifted her in his arms. She was so light, almost weightless, as if the world had already given up on her. But Evan hadn't. He tried to think fast. Where could he take her? Not the alien hospital, they already rejected her. Not the human hospital, they wouldn't know how to treat an alien body. Then he remembered. Dr. Maya's vet clinic, 2 blocks away. She treated alien animals all the time. Maybe she could help. Evan started running. The girl's head rested against his shoulder, her glowing eyes fading. She whispered something strange, but too quietly for him to understand. People on the street stared, confused and shocked. But Evan didn't stop. He ran faster, holding her tightly, as if her life depended on every second. Because it did. The clinic lights were still on. Evan kicked open the door. Dr. Maya looked up from her desk, surprised. What happened? Evan placed the girl carefully on a table. They left her outside to die, he said, breathing heavily. She needs help right now. Dr. Maya stared at the girl's wounds, then at Evan, then back at the girl. Her expression turned serious. Then we save her, she said, and that was the moment everything changed, for the girl, for the human, and for the story that was about to unfold. The small vet clinic smelled of medicine, warm lights, and calm air, a complete opposite of the cold alien hospital that had abandoned the girl. Evan stood beside the metal table, breathing fast, his hands shaking slightly from the rush of carrying her through the streets. His jacket was still wrapped around her fragile body. Dr. Maya quickly placed a heater lamp above the girl and checked her pulse. Her eyebrows pulled together in worry. She's freezing, she muttered, and her heartbeat is too weak. What did they do to her? Evan swallowed hard. They tossed her outside their hospital, like they didn't want her to survive. Dr. Maya froze for a moment, staring at him in disbelief. No hospital would do that, she whispered. But when she looked at the girl's trembling hands, the dried tear on her cheek, and the way she struggled to breathe, she understood. Someone had done something terrible. The vet switched on her scanner, a small alien tech device used for off-world animals. A soft blue light moved across the girl's chest. The machine beeped twice, like it didn't understand what it was reading. Strange. Dr. Maya leaned closer. Her organs aren't failing. This isn't natural sickness. Evan blinked. Then why would they leave her outside? Dr. Maya didn't answer. She was too focused on the readings. The girl suddenly flinched, her body tightening. A soft cry escaped her lips, barely a sound, more like a broken breath. Evan stepped closer. Hey, you're safe now. You're not outside anymore. Her eyelids opened for a second. Those glowing silver blue eyes looked right at him. They weren't filled with confusion this time, but trust. A trust she didn't give easily. Her fingers reached out weakly. Evan gently took her hand. Dr. Maya watched this silently. Something in the girl's reaction troubled her. She trusts you, Maya said quietly. Why? She doesn't even know me, Evan replied. She knows you didn't leave her to die, Maya said. And sometimes that is enough. The scanner beeped loudly this time with a warning tone. Maya's face changed. Oh no. Evan's heart dropped. What's wrong? Dr. Maya adjusted the machine to show the internal readings. A thin, glowing line appeared near the girl's bloodstream, like a dark thread mixed with her blood. This, Maya whispered, is a foreign chemical, not natural, not medical. This is injected. Evan felt his stomach twist. Injected? As in, someone did this on purpose? Maya nodded slowly, her voice firm now. She wasn't dying because of a disease. Someone poisoned her. Silence filled the room. The only sound was the girl's weak breathing and the heater lamp's soft hum. Evan stared at her lying unconscious. Abandoned, poisoned. Why would anyone do that to her? He whispered. Maya didn't answer because she didn't know. But she placed her gloved hand on the girl's wrist. I'll run a deeper scan. It might tell us what toxin it is. Just then, the girl's hand tightened around Evan's fingers. Her eyes flickered open again, wider this time. She looked scared, so scared her whole body shivered. No, no, she whispered in her alien accent. Not safe. Coming. Evan leaned closer. Who's coming? But she couldn't speak more. Her breath faded again, and her eyes closed. Dr. Maya frowned. She's frightened. Someone must have chased her before she collapsed. Before Evan could respond, a sudden sharp beep came from the clinic's front door. Both of them turned. The door's auto-sensor detected movement outside. Maya walked to the window carefully and lifted the curtain just a little. Her face turned pale. Evan, look. Outside, on the other side of the street, stood two alien figures, tall metallic suits, glowing shoulder lights, scanning devices in their hands. They weren't walking. They weren't rushing. They were searching. Searching. For someone. For her. Evan's heart pounded. If those are the people who left her outside, they aren't doctors, Maya said softly. Their armor is military grade. The clinic's light reflected off the alien visors. One of them scanned the ground where Evan had run earlier. The other one pointed toward the direction of the clinic. They're tracking her scent, Maya whispered. If they find her here. Evan didn't let her finish. He stepped beside the table, lifting the girl into his arms again. We hide her, he said. Maya nodded and unlocked the back corridor door. Room 3, no windows, no outside sensors, quick. Evan carried the girl down the hallway. Her breathing was shallow, her skin cold, but her fingers were still holding onto his sleeve. Like she knew he wouldn't leave her. Maya shut the room door behind them. Stay here. I'll distract them if they enter. What? No, Evan whispered sharply. It's dangerous. Maya raised an eyebrow. You brought an alien girl into my clinic. I think danger has already arrived. Evan looked down at the girl in his arms. She looked so small, so helpless. But she wasn't weak. She had survived poisoning, abandonment, and fear. Evan placed her gently on the bed. Why would they poison you? He whispered. For a moment, her eyes opened again, half conscious, half dreaming. They didn't want me to tell. To tell what? Evan asked urgently, but she slipped back into unconsciousness before he could hear the truth. Outside, footsteps approached the clinic entrance. The aliens were right outside the door, and Evan realized something. His decision to pick her up and help her wasn't just kindness. It was the decision that would change everything. Dr. Maya locked the back room door and hurried toward the front of the clinic. The sound of steps outside had stopped. The clinic became painfully quiet, too quiet. Even the humming machine sounded louder in the silence. Evan stayed inside room 3, holding the alien girl's weak hand. Her skin felt cold, like she was fading away again. He didn't know what she had seen or what she was afraid of, but the fear in her eyes before she fainted was real. Meanwhile, Dr. Maya took a long breath and opened the front door a few inches. Two tall alien enforcers stood outside. Their metal armor reflected the streetlights. Their helmets had glowing blue visors that hid their faces. They looked more like hunters than hospital staff. The first alien tilted his head. Human, we are searching for a lost biospecimen. Have you seen anything unusual? Maya kept her expression calm. This is a vet clinic. People bring sick animals, not biospecimens. What are you looking for exactly? The second alien tapped a screen on his wrist. A faint hologram appeared, blurry, flickering, but clearly shaped like the alien girl Evan had brought in. Maya's heart dropped, but she hid it well. No, she said firmly. I haven't seen her. The two armored figures stood silently for a moment. One of them leaned forward slightly, as if sniffing the air. There is a scent, he said. Fresh, female unit, weak. Maya crossed her arms. I cleaned the clinic. You are smelling disinfectant. They stared at her for several long seconds. Finally, the lead alien said, If she comes here, Alert us. She is dangerous. Maya raised an eyebrow. A half-conscious child? Dangerous? Really? The alien didn't answer. Instead, he turned away slowly. The two walked off into the dark street, scanning the ground as they moved. But before turning the corner, one of them looked back at the clinic window as if he knew the truth was hiding behind the glass. Maya closed the door quickly and locked it twice. When she stepped into room 3, Evan looked up immediately. Did they leave? He whispered. Yes, Maya said. But they'll be back. They are following her scent. Evan clenched his jaw. Why would they chase a poisoned girl? What did she do? Maya shook her head. That's what we're about to find out. She placed her scanner on the table beside the girl. This time, instead of checking her organs, Maya pulled out a thin, needle-shaped device connected to the machine. I'm going to take a microsample from her blood. It might show us what poison was used. Evan held the girl's hand tighter. She's too weak. Be gentle, Maya nodded. Of course. As she inserted the needle into a vein near the girl's wrist, the girl stirred. She winced a little, but Evan whispered to her gently, It's okay, it's safe, you're not outside anymore. The girl relaxed. The scanner processed the sample. Lines of alien symbols flashed across the screen, shifting to human language. As the device translated, Maya's eyes widened. Oh my God. Evan stepped closer. What does it say? Maya pointed at the data. This toxin isn't used for killing, it's used for silencing. Silencing? Evan repeated. Yes. Maya said. The poison attacks a part of the brain that controls speech. After enough exposure, she would lose her ability to talk permanently. Evan's eyes widened in shock. So they poisoned her just to make her stop talking? Maya nodded slowly. Someone didn't want her to speak. Someone wanted to erase her voice. Evan stared at the girl's silent lips, remembering the first word she whispered outside the hospital. Help. What truth had she wanted to speak? What secret did she know that made her own people want her to be silent forever? As the girl breathed softly, her fingers twitched again, trying to reach for something. Evan gently moved her hand onto his palm. She whispered, barely audible, Don't let them find me. We won't, Evan promised. I swear. For the first time, the girl's lips shifted into the tiniest smile. It lasted only a second before she slipped back into unconsciousness. Maya stepped away from the scanner with a serious look. Evan, we have a bigger problem. What now? He asked. The toxin is still spreading. I can slow it down, but I can't cure it fully with human medicine. Her species doesn't respond to our antidotes, so what do we do? Evan asked urgently. Maya hesitated. We need something from her home planet. Something that can neutralize the toxin fully. But how? Evan asked. Her own people want her gone. Maya exhaled slowly. Then we have to be smarter than them. But before Evan could respond, the clinic lights flickered once, twice, then turned dim. The power was being drained from outside. Maya ran to the window. No. 3 alien drones hovered outside the clinic roof. Their eyes glowed red, scanning the building with a slow mechanical sweep. They're searching every structure, Maya said. Block by block. Evan stood in front of the girl protectively, his fists tight. They aren't taking her, he whispered. Not again. A sudden alert sounded from the scanner. Maya checked it. The toxin had reached the girl's vocal nerves. We're running out of time, Maya said. Outside, a drone turned its red light toward the clinic's door. The hunters had found their trail again. And inside room 3, the girl whispered one last fragmented word. Hide. The drone's red light swept across the clinic walls like a hunting spotlight. Evan stood frozen beside the girl, his heart pounding. Dr. Maya lowered the blinds and quickly switched off the room lights, letting the room sink into a soft darkness. Only The faint glow from the girl's skin remained. Her bioluminescent veins pulsed weakly, under her pale green skin like distant stars fading in the night. Why is she glowing like that? Evan whispered. Maya didn't answer at first. She stared at the scanner again, her face tense, confused, almost afraid. Maya? What is it? Evan asked. Finally, she spoke softly. Her blood isn't normal, Evan frowned. Well, she's an alien. No, Maya said. It's more than that. She turned the scanner so Evan could see. The digital map of the girl's bloodstream wasn't just showing poison. It showed something else woven through every vessel, something bright, shimmering, alive. It looks like light. Evan whispered. It is light, Maya replied. Her blood carries photonic particles. It acts like a living memory core. Evan stared at her. What does that even mean? Maya looked at the girl with shock in her eyes. It means her memories are stored inside her blood cells, not her brain. Evan's heart skipped a beat. So if someone wanted to erase her memory, they wouldn't need to damage her mind, Maya said. They would poison her blood. Evan felt a chill. The toxin. It's attacking her blood, not just her voice. Maya nodded, her voice low and serious. Someone didn't want her to remember something. Something important. The girl whispered softly, as if hearing them through. Her half-conscious state. They didn't want me to tell. Evan leaned closer. Tell what? He asked gently. What did you see? But before she could speak, a sudden alarm blared from the scanner. Maya turned sharply. Oh no. What now? Evan asked. The toxin just triggered a memory release. Her blood is trying to defend itself. Defend? Evan repeated. Yes, her species biology stores memories like a backup system, Maya explained. When the body thinks it's dying, it releases the last saved memory. Evan's eyes widened. Like a message? Yes, Maya whispered. She's about to show us what happened to her. The girl's glowing veins brightened. A soft blue mist formed around her fingertips, drifting upward like thin smoke. Evan stepped back in shock as the mist expanded slowly until it created a faint holographic shape in the air. Maya whispered, "This is her memory." The hologram sharpened. A laboratory appeared, cold metallic, filled with tall machines and glowing tubes. Several alien doctors, the same species as the girl, stood around a table where a device pulsed with dangerous green light. The girl's hologram self stood in the corner, holding a tablet. Her young face looked innocent, curious, unaware of danger. But then another figure entered the memory, a tall alien wearing a golden med seal on his chest. His voice echoed inside the small clinic room. "We cannot let this information reach the council. If she saw it, erase her." In the memory, the girl gasped. They turned to her. She stumbled back, terrified. The doctor with the golden med seal pointed at her. "Take her. Shut her voice. Wipe her blood." The memory froze. The hologram vanished. The girl on the clinic bed trembled violently. Her breathing turned shallow again. Evan felt a wave of anger, disbelief, and protective instinct all at once. "They poisoned her because she saw something illegal," he whispered. "And they tried to kill her because she knew the truth." Maya nodded grimly. She saw them creating something dangerous, something they wanted to hide. Before they could speak another word, a loud metal clank echoed from the clinic entrance. The aliens were back. Maya peeked through the blinds and stiffened. This time, there were 5 armored enforcers standing outside. And behind them, a medical officer wearing the golden med seal. The same one from the memory. Evan's stomach dropped. "They tracked the memory release," Maya whispered. "They know she's alive," Evan said softly. "And they know she remembers." The girl stirred again, her glowing eyes opening just a little. "Don't let them take me," she whispered. Evan squeezed her hand gently. "They won't, I promise." But the front door lock suddenly turned red as the aliens used a hacking tool. "Maya," Evan said urgently. "What do we do?" Maya grabbed a metal cabinet and pushed it against the backroom door. "We have to move her. We need to get her away from the clinic." "Where?" Evan asked. Maya looked at the ventilation hatch at the room's corner. "Through the old maintenance tunnels. They lead all the way under the street." Evan nodded. "Let's go." But the girl whispered one last thing, barely a sound. "They want my blood, not me." Evan froze. "What do you mean?" he asked. Her voice cracked. "My blood carries the formula they stole." Maya's eyes widened. "They weren't trying to silence her. They were trying to destroy the evidence," Evan breathed, "because the evidence was flowing through her veins." Outside, the clinic's front door exploded inward. The aliens had found them. The clinic shook as the front door exploded inward. Dust rained from the ceiling. Evan instinctively shielded the alien girl with his body, while Dr. Maya grabbed her emergency kit and shoved it into her backpack. Loud metallic steps echoed from the front hallway. The alien enforcers had entered the clinic. "We don't have much time," Maya whispered. "We move now." Evan lifted the girl into his arms. She felt even lighter than before, her skin colder, her breathing thin. Her glowing veins flickered like a dying flame. Maya pointed to the maintenance vent near the floor. "Open it." Evan kicked the metal cover off. A narrow tunnel, dark and dusty, stretched downward. It smelled like rust and old cables. But it was the only way out. Suddenly, a robotic voice boomed from the front of the clinic. "Biospecimen detected. Prepare extraction." The girl shivered in Evan's arms. Her hand tightened on his shirt. "Don't let them take me," she whispered, her voice barely there. Evan leaned close. "I won't, I promise." But the golden med-seal officer stepped into the hallway, his footsteps calm, slow, almost confident. He spoke in a cold voice that echoed through the building. "She carries classified material. Her blood belongs to the Dominion. Return her or be eliminated." Maya whispered harshly, "Go, now." Evan slid into the tunnel with the girl. The space was tight, barely enough for him to crawl. Maya followed behind, closing the hatch just as heavy footsteps entered the room. The tunnel was dark except for the faint glow from the girl's veins. Her light guided them. Metal crashed behind them. The enforcers were breaking through the back wall. They could hear them, crawling into the vents from the other side. "They're splitting up," Maya whispered. "They're trying to corner us." Evan crawled faster, but the tunnel suddenly split left and right. "Which way?" he whispered. Before Maya could answer, the scanner in her backpack beeped softly. The screen lit up with a map, the maintenance route of the entire block. She pointed left. "That leads to the old storm drain. We can get out through there." Evan nodded and moved left, but just as he turned, something slammed into the metal behind them. Bang! Bang! The enforcers were smashing into the tunnel walls, trying to force their way through. Evan's heart raced. He crawled faster, but the girl suddenly gasped. "Stop!" she whispered weakly. Evan froze. "What's wrong?" She touched her neck, trembling. "My blood heating too fast." Maya looked at the scanner in panic. "Oh no." Evan's voice tightened. "What's happening?" "The toxin," Maya said. "It reacts to stress. If her heart beats too fast, the poison spreads quicker." The girl whispered, "I can't breathe." Her glowing veins were turning a dangerous red. Evan tried to calm her, holding her close. "Hey, it's okay. You're safe. Breathe slow, slow, nice and easy." His voice steadied her. Her glow softened again, but the enforcers were getting closer. A mechanical drilling sound echoed through the left side of the tunnel. They were breaking in from ahead. "They're cutting us off." Maya whispered, "We need the right tunnel." Instead, Evan turned sharply and crawled back toward the split. But when he reached it, a glowing blue visor appeared in the darkness. A helmet. An alien enforcer. Already inside the tunnel, Evan froze. The enforcer raised an arm, activating a capture device that pulsed with green light designed to stun and restrain biological targets. Evan whispered to the girl, "Close your eyes, then." He kicked the dirt wall as hard as he could. The dried earth cracked and collapsed inward, creating a sudden explosion of dust and rocks that filled the tunnel. The enforcer hissed and shielded his face. Evan grabbed the girl tightly and rolled into the right tunnel, pulling Maya with him. Dust filled the air. The tunnel shook with angered roars. "Go!" Maya whispered. They crawled for several minutes, turning corner after corner, until finally cold air hit their faces. A round grate led into the open night. Evan pushed it open and climbed out, lifting the girl gently from the tunnel. Maya followed. They were behind an old abandoned robo-factory, rusted machines, broken windows, wild plants growing through cracks. The air smelled of oil and rain. For a moment, it felt safe. But then, a deep, mechanical hum filled the air. Above them, a large alien hovercraft descended slowly. Its searchlights swept across the ground like giant white blades. Maya gasped. They brought a tracking ship. Evan held the girl close. She was barely conscious now. Her voice trembled. "They won't stop until they take my blood." Evan clenched his jaw. "Then we keep moving." Maya pointed to the robo-factory's broken entrance. "We hide inside. It's big, dark, full of metal. Their scanners won't work well in there." They rushed toward the factory. Just before entering, Evan looked at the girl again. Her eyes fluttered open, weak but full of fear. "What are they planning?" he asked. She swallowed painfully. "They want to use my blood to make a weapon." Evan froze. "A weapon?" She nodded faintly. "My blood carries the formula. To control light, to bend it, to erase anything." Maya whispered in shock. "A weapon that can delete information. Delete memories, delete evidence." The girl's voice cracked. "They want to erase whole worlds." Evan tightened his hold on her. "I won't let them." The hovercraft's searchlight passed, dangerously close. Their time was running out. The old robo-factory was a maze of rusted machines, broken chains and metal shadows that stretched across the floor like long fingers. Dust floated in the air, glowing softly under the moonlight coming through broken windows. Every sound echoed, every footstep, every breath. It was a place forgotten by time. And now, it was the only place they could hide. Evan carried the alien girl deeper inside, past collapsed conveyor belts and old robotic arms frozen mid-motion. Dr. Maya followed behind, checking the scanner every few seconds. The hovercraft outside hummed louder, its searchlights slicing through the night as it hovered above the factory. "They'll search this whole place," Maya whispered. "But inside all this metal, we have a little time." Evan gently placed the girl on a stack of old cloth sheets. Her glowing veins flickered weakly, turning from soft blue to faint red whenever she tried to breathe. "How long do we have?" Evan asked, his voice tight. Maya checked the scanner. "Her vital signs are dropping fast. We need to slow the toxin down now. At this rate, she will lose all vocal and memory function within 30 minutes. The girl opened her eyes, just slightly. 30 minutes. She whispered, terrified. Evan knelt beside her. "We won't let that happen." But she shook her head weakly. "You don't understand. The toxin changes everything. When it reaches my brainstem, all memories stored in my blood will lock." "Lock?" Maya repeated. The girl nodded. "Like sealing a vault. Nothing gets in. Nothing gets out. I won't even know who I am." Her voice cracked. A single glowing tear rolled down her cheek. Evan's heart twisted painfully. He didn't know her name. He didn't know her world. He didn't know her past, but he knew one thing. He couldn't let her disappear, not from poison, and not from her own memories. Maya opened her emergency kit. "I have a partial antidote," she said. "It won't cure her, but it can slow the toxin for 30 more minutes. That gives us 1 hour total," Evan said. "Enough to escape?" Maya hesitated. "We won't be escaping." "Not tonight," Evan frowned. "What do you mean?" Maya took a small vial filled with shimmering liquid. "This antidote needs 30 minutes to work. She must stay still while it stabilizes her blood flow. So we hide for 30 minutes. Evan said firmly. Maya bit her lip. "That's the problem. The enforcers will be inside this factory in 10 minutes. They always sweep abandoned structures first." Evan looked around the massive hall, shadows everywhere, metal everywhere, and nowhere safe enough. "So what's the plan?" Maya stared at the scanner screen for several long seconds. Then her eyes widened. "There is one possibility," she whispered. "But it's dangerous." She pointed toward the far end of the factory. "Under the factory floor, there's an old cold storage room. Thick stainless steel walls. It was built for machinery, not food, so it's large and heavily shielded." Evan understood instantly. "Their scanners won't detect her inside." "Exactly," Maya said. "But the storage room's door is heavy. Once it closes, we can't open it from the inside. It has no power source, no manual override. It locks completely." Evan stared. "So once she goes in, we can't get her out?" Maya nodded slowly. "We would trap her with us until the enforcers leave. But if they find did it US before the antidote works, we're done." A deep mechanical boom echoed outside. The hovercraft landed. Evan's pulse sped up. "They're coming." The girl's voice trembled. "Go, leave me." Evan shook his head instantly. "Never. I'm not like them. We don't abandon people." She looked at him with weak but shining eyes. "No human has ever said that to me." Maya opened the vial. "This will hurt," she warned softly to the girl, "but it will save your memories." The girl nodded. Maya inserted the injector gently into her arm. The girl gasped as the glowing antidote spread under her skin. Her veins lit up bright blue for a moment, then dimmed to a calmer, soft light. "She has 30 minutes, Maya whispered, checking the scanner. "After that, the toxin will freeze." Outside, footsteps thudded against the concrete ground. Alien voices echoed through the factory walls. "Scatter pattern. Search every entry point." Evan lifted the girl again, wrapping her gently in the cloth sheets to hide her glow. Maya led them through a narrow corridor full of fallen metal plates. They reached the old cold storage room, huge, circular, with a thick steel door that looked like a bank vault. Dust coated its surface. Maya pulled the lever. It screeched loudly, too loudly. Alien footsteps stopped outside the factory. They heard that. Evan whispered. The door opened halfway. Cold air rushed out. "Inside." "Now," Maya said. Evan stepped into the freezing room, carrying the girl close to his chest to keep her warm. Maya slipped inside right behind him. The room was dark. Only the girl's faint blue glow lit the walls. Maya pushed the steel lever from the inside. Clanged out the door. Sealed shut. Everything went silent. No sound. No air movement. No escape. Evan sat beside the girl, holding her hand. "How much time?" he whispered. Maya checked the scanner. 29 minutes until the antidote stabilizes. 10 minutes until the enforcers reach this area. The girl shivered. Evan squeezed her hand gently. "Then we stay quiet," he whispered. "And we survive this together." Outside, heavy footsteps approached the storage room. The hunters were inches away. The cold storage room was silent. So silent that every heartbeat felt loud. Evan sat on the floor, leaning against a metal crate, holding the alien girl in his arms. Her breathing was shallow but steady. Her veins glowed softly, no longer red, no longer wild. Just faint blue. Like the last light of a quiet star. Dr. Maya sat across from them, the portable scanner glowing weakly in her hands. Outside the steel door, footsteps. Mechanical clicks. Traces of alien voices murmuring commands. They're right in front of the room. Maya whispered. Evan tightened his grip on the girl protectively. The girl whispered, barely audible. They know I'm alive. Her voice was still. Soft, but it was clearer than before. The antidote was working, but she was still terribly weak. Maya checked the countdown on the scanner. 18 minutes until the antidote locks your memories in place. You must stay calm. No panic, no shock. The girl closed her eyes. I'm trying. Outside. Bam! A metallic fist struck the steel. Evan and Maya froze. Another hit. Harder. There. Testing the door, Maya whispered. If they find a weakness. Evan shook his head. This door was built for industrial freezing. They'll waste time breaking in, Maya swallowed. We're trapped if they do. The girl slowly lifted her hand and touched Evan's arm. Why are you helping me? Evan looked at her softly. Because you didn't deserve to be thrown away, the girl blinked. Her eyes shimmered with an emotion she didn't fully understand. No one in my world ever said that, not even my family. Evan gave a small smile. Well, welcome to humanity. A quiet laugh escaped her, a fragile sound, but alive. But outside, the aliens were done waiting. A commanding voice shouted, "Thermal drill activate." A burning sound hit the steel door like fire crawling across metal. They're trying to melt through, Maya whispered. The room heated slightly. The metal walls vibrated. Evan looked at the girl, worry tightening his jaw. How much time for the antidote now? Maya checked. 14 minutes. Evan cursed under his breath. They'll melt through before then. The girl opened her glowing eyes fully now. You have to leave me. Evan shook his head instantly. Not happening. You can escape when the door opens, she whispered. They only want me. Maya leaned forward. No, they'll kill all of us. The moment they see humans helped you, they'll erase evidence. The girl's breath caught. Erase you? Evan nodded. They're not here to rescue or retrieve. They're here to silence. The girl's hand trembled. There. Monsters, Maya whispered calmly. Your truth threatened them. People in power fear truth more than weapons. The thermal drill burned hotter. The steel glowed red at the edges. The girl started shaking again. Calm, Maya whispered. Breathe slow. We need your heart steady. The girl closed her eyes tightly, breathing in small, controlled puffs. Another boom shook the door. Now the edges were glowing orange. The girl whispered. 10 minutes, Maya nodded. You're almost there. Just hold on. But Evan looked at the melting door and realized something terrifying. There's no way we survive 10 minutes. And then, the girl's glow suddenly brightened. Her veins pulsed rapidly. Maya gasped. What's happening? The girl whispered. My blood is activating another memory release. Evan panicked. No, that will raise your heart rate, too. Late. Her body lit up like a soft blue flame. Mist rose again, forming a small floating hologram, this time not a memory of danger, but a message. It was herself. From before, younger, stronger, standing in a lab coat, her hologram self spoke calmly. If anything happens to me, and if someone kind finds me, I want them to know my name. The real girl gasped. Maya and Evan leaned closer. The hologram continued. My name is Aaron. The hologram flickered. And I hope, in another world, I can live without fear. Then the hologram faded. The real Aaron stared at Evan with shocked, watery eyes. That's my name, he smiled. Aaron, it suits you. She smiled weakly, but it didn't last. The door cracked. Red-hot lines spreading like fire veins. Maya grabbed the heavy metal crate. When they break through, use this as cover. But before they could move, the scanner beeped loudly. Aaron gasped. What does that mean? Maya's eyes widened. The antidote is stabilizing faster. Evan blinked. Is that good? It's amazing, Maya said. She survived. Her memories and voice will be safe. Aaron laughed softly, almost crying, but the door burst inward. Enforcers stormed in 5 armored figures. Weapons raised. Evan shielded Aaron instantly. Maya stepped between them with her metal crate like a shield, the golden med seal. Officer stepped forward. Surrender the specimen. Aaron lifted her head, just barely, and whispered, I'm not a specimen. The officer raised his weapon, but Aaron's veins glowed bright blue. A wave of photonic light burst outward like a shockwave. The enforcers staggered back, their scanners glitching, their visors flickering. Evan stared. What is happening? Maya whispered, stunned. Her blood, it's releasing energy to protect her. The officer fell to his knees, screaming as his visor shut down completely. Aaron collapsed against Evan's chest. It's over, she whispered. And it was. The enforcers scrambled back, blinded, sensors dead, unable to see or track anything. They fled. Minutes later, silence returned. Aaron breathed slowly, safely. Evan brushed her hair back gently. You lived because you fought, and because you trusted us, Aaron whispered. No. I lived because humans cared when my own people didn't. Her glowing eyes closed softly. For the first time she slept peacefully, and Evan realized